Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to all of my new subscribers. I'm so happy you joined me, and I have another journal share today. So I'm slowly catching up on my orders and projects, and this journal is a custom order. So my lovely customer Dorothy, she wanted a journal for her recipes, and it's quite a new theme for me, but I was very excited about this challenge, and I love how this journal turned out. Even though it's not my usual like color scheme and all, I had so much fun making it. And it's quite a big book. It has a 6 cm spine and 5 signatures, and as you can see, there's a lot of going on inside. So the journal is covered with this beautiful vintage looking fabric. I love the colors, and I really love this rose here on the front, so I decided to use this fabric. And it has a Tim Holtz book plate, and I just stamped recipe inside, and I used some inky gold to make it look more like vintage gold. Then I have big metal corners to protect the book corners. Then there is the spine with 5 signatures and the back. And as for the charm, I didn't want to add anything too big because it would probably not be very comfortable in a kitchen, but I did want to add something, and I had this vintage bracelet, and it has nothing to do with kitchen or anything, but I don't know, it just spoke to me, and maybe because it's just so vintage, like the whole journal, and I really wanted to add it. So I added it on this Tim Holtz clip, so it's removable, so she can just take it off whenever she's working with this journal and just clip it back on when it's like standing on a shelf or something. And just look how cute this bracelet is. It has some really cute charms and those little bows. It's just very vintage, and it kind of fits with those reds. It fits the rose on the front, so I just think it looks cute. Okay, so let me take this off for the purpose of the flip through. Then the closure of this journal is this vintage lace through eyelets here, and just let's see inside. Okay, so inside I used a lot of Tim Holtz papers and just neutral colored papers, and I used Artymaze's collection Time for Cooking, I think it's called. I will link it below so you can check it out. I used the kit and the add-on. So I have this vintage lace as a pocket here on the front, and this pretty paper, and inside these pieces are from Artymaze, and I just made a little booklet with this, and the back is printed with TaylorMadeJournals lace prints, and then a tag again from Artymaze with the lace print on the back, just some sari silk, so place for journaling. And my goal for this journal was to add maximum space for writing and for jotting down recipes, for journaling and whatnot. So you will see that there's a lot of flip outs, so there's not much things that are actually glued. There's a lot of stuff that are paper clipped and so on. So this here in the front is an altered window envelope, and inside I have this plate from an antique cooking book, and I made a journaling tag from it, so there's space for journaling inside on the back, and there is some vintage sari fabric, and then it flips, so there is more space for journaling here. And this beautiful paper from Tim Holtz. This is memoranda paper pack. So more vintage lace, and some journaling cards, recipe from the kitchen off. These are from the old design shop. A paper tea stain doily, some ledger paper printed on parchment, and vintage sari. Then this is the page from Artymaze. Book page about some table setting, table decorations. Coffee stain paper with a pocket from Artymaze and a little journaling piece inside. Tim Holtz paper, more vintage lace and a pocket, and this is just a journaling card from Artymaze. This is vintage notebook paper with some stamping, vintage ledger paper with some lace, and it flips open, so there's a lot space for journaling. And this is the antique cooking book that I mentioned before, and I've added some pages from it. It has a beautiful like coloring to it. I chose some pages with recipes, so there are some recipes from almond bread, for example, almond cake, pudding, just very cute, and I reinforced it with some washi tape. So then there is a little envelope, paper clipped. I made it from craft paper. It has a label, and inside there's just a piece of ephemera from Artymaze, a journaling card. And it's clipped to this French ruled paper, which has been tea stained. So this is from Artymaze, and there is a fabric tab. This is vintage fabric with a charm, 4-leaf clover, and some beads. Then this is fabric dyed paper, and I used some Inca gold over it with lace. This is a tag spot here with another big tag for journaling, and a tag spot here with some journaling ephemera, so a card from Artymaze and this piece from the old design shop. And a label, so you can just write down the name of the recipe on this page or something. And this is from the old design shop. I really like it. So this says unusual loaf and tea cakes, just beautiful recipes, fun to read through and fun to look at. These guys flip out, and we have two little belly bands here with some more ephemera, vintage cooking ephemera in both of these, so they can be used, you know, to jot down some things on the back or glue them down as decoration somewhere. Fabric dyed paper, the other side of Artymaze, some little collaging here on the edge. Then the other side of this book page is about menu making, and I really recommend you, Dorothy, to just read through this. This is so fun. So then there is a little pocket or envelope from a book page, and inside I've added some tabs that you can use on the edges of the pages and just annotate what section this is, like entrees, main dishes and whatnot. So some of them I cut myself from Tim Holtz paper, and some are from Artymaze's collection. Then this is Tim Holtz page, and it flips like this. More coffee stained paper and a little charm, key charm with a bead on this vintage sari trim tab. Book page. Then in here I've sewn this little, like a notebook. I think it would be perfect for lists, like grocery lists, shopping lists, and it just has some vintage lace and sari trim on top. Parchment paper, doily, and this is a pocket here at the end of the signature, and just some more journaling pieces. We have beautiful Tim Holtz papers, and I did not want to do anything to this page because I just loved how you can write straight on this patterned paper. I love when papers have like grid or like ledger where you can write over it, so I did not want to cover it. Then we have coffee stained paper with a lace imprint, hope you can see it on camera, and just a little piece of ephemera in this pocket from Artymaze. And some more paper and vintage lace here. This just flips up, so it gives you some more journaling space on the back, and of course the whole page. some stamping here that looks like stitched lines, more notebook pages, tea stained with some stamping and fabric tabs. And then I have this beautiful, like a Victorian garden catalogue, and I chose some pages that I thought would be relevant. So this is the kitchen garden with some vegetables, more book pages, a tack spot here, some cheesecloth. Then this flips out for more journaling space. Again, a vintage antique book page, how to wait at a table. Then this just flips out, so there is space for you to add some notes. This is recycled paper, and I used an edge punch on this page. More book pages. This is the Victorian kitchen, and we have the spring fruit soup, for example, Victorian recipes. Then I used some vintage linen printables from Johanna Clough's shop, and I made this one into a pocket for another ephemera piece. And I love them because they add such a beautiful vintage vibe to the pages. Then we have some pages on menu making, suggestions for menus for a week's dinners, winter, autumn, family supper for 1 week. I mean, so interesting. Some stamping and a sticker here on this vintage paper, more book pages, beautiful ephemera pieces on this book page. Then this is a coin pocket from Artymaze, this paper clipped here, and I did not put anything inside, but there is space for you to put your like notes and recipes written on loose pieces of paper and whatnot. So there is a stamped garden here, vintage trim, more stamping on this coffee stained paper. Again, a tack spot made out of this vintage linen, and some more of these journaling cards from the old design shop, backed with tea-stained cardstock. So lots of space for journaling on these. And this is the end of the signature, and I've added, I wash it actually, this big envelope. So I think I put something inside actually, some pieces of ephemera. But it's really, this is really a big envelope, so you can just add your pieces of paper inside, your recipes and whatnot, and it closes with this piece of ephemera here, so it stays closed. And I washi taped it here because first you have space for journaling on the back of this envelope, and again I did not want to cover this beautiful grid paper from Tim Holtz. And again here, place for journaling straight on the patterned paper. And then this is a vellum pocket with just some collaging here, and I use this piece again from Tim Holtz. This is like, it says March 1912, February 1912, and it just has some names of weekdays, and I thought it would be cool to just plan some family dinners on it or something like that. Then vintage leisure paper, and it just flips like this. More Artymaze paper, more book pages from the Victorian kitchen, and then this is a little, I don't know, I think it was a file folder actually, but I made a pocket out of it. I added this label, some washi tape, and a piece of ephemera inside. And I like how the tabs stick out of this page. Then some notebook paper, vintage paper with stenciling, more doilies. And this is again a tack spot and a vintage Indian trim. More beautiful imprints, lace imprints on this coffee stained paper. Then again a tack spot and another journaling card. Okay, then this is a paper bag, but because I did not want to cover the whole page, the paper bag actually flips down. I embossed it and inked it, and there is a big ephemera piece inside. More Tim Holtz pages that flip, more book pages. This is about gardening, garden implements, and it just flips. In the middle of the signature, some labels and a tea-stained grid paper. The other side of the book just flips like this. I think it's so cute. So another little pocket from Artymaze and another piece of ephemera tucked here. And this is again a little pocket, a little envelope from Artymaze. I just sewn some lace on it and added this label, which I think matches this label perfectly, and it's empty, so you can add whatever you wish inside. Coffee stain paper. And this is again an altered window envelope, and I tagged another notebook inside. So this says summer menus, 1898 spring menus. Very cute. An additional space for writing, some stamping and stenciling, more vintage paper. I glued down this piece of this vintage linen over some text on a book page, so you can write over here. And then this is vintage fabric, vintage ledger, and then this piece of linen printable makes for a pocket. And I have some handwritten recipe cards from the old design shop. I printed them on tea stain paper, so you can use them for your own journaling on the back. Fourth signature. So here I have this flip out thing that's completely inspired by Wendy. So we have those pockets that I decorated with some Tim Holtz wallpaper, washi tape, some pieces of ephemera, and they both flip like this, and they have vintage linen printables on the back, and this here on the back is again Tim Holtz wallpaper, and they both have pockets inside, so some ephemera from Artymaze here, and some more ephemera in the top one, and then is it like all the way down a pocket as well. Some more collaging, vintage lace, a tag spot here, again the kitchen garden book page, then a bead with some charm and fabric tab. More book pages. This is a page from Artymaze that I printed on vellum, so it's translucent. Tea stain doily. Then this is like a scrappy notebook. You can tear out pages from this. Then some die cutting that I made. Then this is from the old design shop, and I glued the whole page of this Victorian garden catalogue, and this is just says new pattern for greenhouses, but it's like a flip, so you have the whole page to read or to just glue something over it, and a page to journal behind this. Okay, more Artymaze paper. The middle of the signature, two doily printables that just flip for more space to write things down. Then again, this little file folder from Artymaze. I just left it open, and there is the kitchen garden here and a vellum pocket that's sewn here with some piece of ephemera. More places for journaling, more Artymaze papers with vintage fabric, the other side of the vellum page, more book pages, table decorations, just beautiful. Again, a little pocket from Artymaze, coffee stain paper, tea stain paper, some collaging here with a label. Then the end of the signature, again, I did not want to cover any space, so this flips like this. You can journal on the back, you can journal here, and then this is a vintage lace and a pocket, and I have here another journaling card and a piece of ephemera. Okay, and the last signature, here I have this Tim Holtz pocket die cut that I stack some labels and some tickets into it, so you can just, you know, use it to just glue it down over the page and just write down the date or the recipe title, anything like that, and tickets can be used for decoration. Then this is the Old Design Shop, and here I have some very cool Victorian recipes for cardoons with cheese, no idea what cardoons are, and potato snow, and they flip like this, and they have those little tag spots here, so some more labels and tickets, and again a handwritten piece of ephemera from the Old Design Shop. More Artymaze paper, and this is Artymaze's trifold tag that I've sewn around to just decorate it a bit. And I have a pocket here with vintage lace and some ephemera pieces, and then a belly band here with Artymaze's like mason jar ephemera, and just space for journaling, and this beautiful lace print again from TaylorMadeJournals from Lorna's shop. More vintage linens as pockets, fabric dyed paper, some garden tools on this book page, more coffee stained paper, and again a long envelope from Artymaze. And I used some vintage linen printable and this ticket to just decorate it, but it can also be used as a tag spot. But again, I left it empty. This is Artymaze again, and this is this antique cooking book, and this is about marketing. So when can you buy something in season, when it's best, average price, English, New Zealand, I mean, amazing, just amazing. More vintage paper, antique dictionary of gardening, more beautiful paper from the kitchen garden, from the Victorian garden catalogue. And then again a notebook sewn straight to this page, so it has some cool craft paper, and not sure if you can see, but there are perforated here in the middle, so you can just tear out a piece of this page. Vintage paper, then tint provisions, jams, etc. I mean, still about marketing, sauces and pickles. More tag spots here with journaling card, more coffee stained paper with some collaging with a label, Victorian kitchen garden. And this is a beautiful piece from a vintage sari that just flips like this. I thought the colors work perfectly with this journal. Some more vintage trims. Here is a tab, and here again on this tea-stained paper. And this is a tag spot with some vintage music paper, and this burlap with lace trim. And again, I just have this big tag for journaling in here. And this is the end. So again, this beautiful paper on the back, vintage lace, and some journaling cards. So that's it for this journal. I hope you will like it, Dorothy. I loved creating this book. I love the challenge of a different theme than my usual florals, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed this journal, and I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Thank you, and bye bye.